Well, I guess one of the first things that we should do is to understand what a campaign is, or a marketing campaign is. A marketing campaign can involve a mix of different marketing actions which are integrated, like emails, direct mail, and social media. This is one of the reasons that campaigns in the CRM is different from ZOHO campaigns, which is quite specific. ZOHO campaigns deals just with email marketing and social media marketing. The other distinguishing factor about a campaign or marketing campaign is there should be some specific and measurable purpose to that campaign. So this could be in terms of how many responses you get, how many leads you generate, or preferably the revenue that you generate from the campaign. And lastly, a campaign needs to take place over a specific period of time, because only then will you know whether you have achieved that purpose. There has to be some sort of end point. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into the campaigns module within CRM. So the first thing you see is a list of past campaigns that you've carried out. This is very helpful if you're managing a strategic marketing approach where you might have a number of linked campaigns, and you want to manage what status they're actually at. Are you planning them? Are they active? Have they been completed? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually create a completely new campaign and show you how we do that. So it's a very simple screen, but there's some very important parts of it. The first thing is it's quite important to define what type of campaign that we're talking about. And the reason for that is you might at some point in the future want to analyse where you're getting your leads and your sales from. Are you better doing exhibitions, or is webinars better for you, or email or direct marketing? So it's quite important to define the type of campaign you're doing. In this case, I'm going to be looking at an exhibition as an example. You obviously also have to say what status it is, and in this case we're just at the planning stage of the campaign. Again, that goes back to managing your integrated campaigns as part of your strategic marketing plan. It's very important also to give the campaign a particular name. So this makes it very easy to identify it in the future. So this is an exhibition. I can only spell. And maybe it's from a particular exhibition provider, summer, for instance, and it might be for a particular period. Now, I mentioned before that a campaign has to be seen over a specific period of time. So that means it needs some sort of start date when you start planning it, and some sort of end date. Now, the end date will actually depend on the purpose of the campaign. If it's just to generate leads, for instance, then it might be fairly quick, or the time period might be quite narrow. If it's to generate actual revenue, the time period might be a lot longer, because the sales cycle might be several months rather than just a few weeks. Then we need to actually set the targets, or the intended objectives of this particular campaign. So that might be revenue, and generally there are a number of purposes for different campaigns. Some of those are brand profile and things like that. Well, they're not ones that you would actually use a CRM specifically for. When we're looking at CRM, it tends to be much more a direct marketing approach, where we're looking at something specific like revenue or number of responses. And I would suggest that the acid test is, does this marketing campaign provide an ROI? So you need some sort of expected revenue that you're going to get out of it. And of course, you're going to have to bear some costs. So obviously they need to be much less than the revenue that you're going to generate. In this case, I'm going to put down £350. But you could, in some cases, you could say that you wanted a number of responses. So let's say it's 100 responses you wanted, or 100 leads you want to get from this particular exhibition. Now, I haven't completed the actual cost because I don't know those yet until the exhibition takes place. And they could be much more than the budgeted cost, so we would need to find out why that was and review it after the exhibition has taken place. So at this stage, I'm going to save the campaign details. Now, if we scroll down the record, you can see that under the notes area, you've got activities, and this is where you can start to build up your campaign plan. So if it was an exhibition, for example, you might want to say book the stand space, and that may be something that's happening straight away. You might also then think, well, I'm going to this exhibition, perhaps I should actually review my exhibition equipment. So you need to check stand and equipment to see if that needs to be renewed, and perhaps you will give yourself a bit longer to do this, so maybe a week to do that sort of thing. You could also be looking at in an exhibition environment, there might be a handbook that the exhibition organisers provide, so you would need to check handbook for milestones. And maybe the handbook doesn't come out for a while, so maybe we're looking at a little way down the track. And maybe you want to remind yourself to do this particular task. So you could say, okay, well, we've booked it in for the 7th, so just get the CRM to send you a little reminder that this particular task needs to be done a few days before, just to keep you on track. Okay. Now, obviously, as time goes on, you're going to finish these tasks. So, for example, you've checked the handbook for milestones, and this provides just a checklist so that you can go back and make sure that you've completed all of your tasks. Now, it's also very important to do this because if you're looking back on past exhibitions, you want to see what things you had to do in the past, where there were problems, and how much things cost in the past as well. So that will help you with your future planning and also future budgeting. So it's actually quite important to be quite detailed in the way that you capture these actions and how they took place. Now, let's suggest that the exhibition itself has happened, and you want to load the leads from the exhibitions into that campaign. Now, one of the ways that you can do this is directly from the campaign record. So if you look down, you can see an area here which is called leads, and there is a hyperlink in blue which is import my leads. So this takes you to the import wizard within ZOHO, and this enables you to browse for the CSV file, which you would have normally got from the exhibition organisers, probably created from one of these scanning devices where they're scanning a barcode or something on the visitors to your stand. You select the particular CSV file, or it could be just an ordinary Excel format. CSV, by the way, is just a type of Excel. It's called Common Separated Values, but you can create a CSV file in Excel. And then you just go to the next stage, which provides you with a way to map all the various fields on the CSV file or Excel file against the right fields within the lead record. And you can see there's the ones in red largely are the ones that you must map them against. So once you've done that, it's just a matter of telling the system to upload those leads into the campaign. So that's it for how you actually set a campaign up, and we've also linked some leads to it. There will be 2 further videos which which I will be releasing, to show you how you manage leads and especially how you follow leads up automatically when you create a campaign. Follow-up is obviously incredibly important. Something like 70% of all exhibition leads are never followed up. So getting that bit right is incredibly important to make best use of your investment in the exhibitions. And I will also be looking at how you manage the sales process going forward from the exhibitions, from the leads themselves, and then how you actually report on the campaigns to see whether they've been effective or not. So I hope you've enjoyed this short video on how you set up campaigns in ZOHO CRM.